In this presentation, we will enter the bank reconciliation for the business and personal account for the month of January within QuickBooks. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info. We are on the home page. We currently have the open windows open. You can open the open windows by going to the view dropdown and selecting the open windows list. We're now going to reconcile the bank accounts. We've entered the information directly from our bank statement. Here is our bank statement, and it has personal and business information in it. We're going to reconcile, although we entered the data directly from the bank statement to QuickBooks, and therefore it should be exactly the same reconciliation then, fairly easy. However, we still need to reconcile because it'll help us to see if we have made any errors. It's going to help us to see if we had data input problems, if we missed anything, miskeyed anything, or at least many things. It's still a huge good check to do for us, and therefore we will do it. So we're going to go back to the QuickBooks file, and we're going to go to the banking dropdown, and we're going to then select the reconciliation, banking reconciliation. It's going to be for the end of the month of January 31 and 20, so that's January 31st, 2020. We do not have the beginning balance here because remember that we didn't enter the beginning balance when we set up the checking account because QuickBooks then makes some kind of other funny account when we do that. And we put in the checking account directly. By doing that, we got to assign which other account we wanted, which we put to the equity account. But now we have to deal with this beginning balance problem. And all we have to do is make sure that we check off the beginning balance, this 4,210, as we enter the data. So it'll be just one of the items that we check off, a little kind of a quirk to reconciling the first month, but I think worthwhile to do rather than using the beginning balance if we don't need to within the checking account as we set it up. So we'll see that the ending balance we're going to put in place is the 13,483, 13483, 13483, 13483. I think I remembered that. So here we go. And then we've got the service charges and the interest. We're not going to enter those here. We're going to enter those, if there are any, into the check register directly, which we already would have done. We haven't done for one of the items, and we'll enter those as we go through the reconciliation process. Therefore, we're going to select continue. To continue, we're going to say yes. And here is our information. All we have to do is just tick and tie and make sure that all the data in here is exactly the same on our check register. So on the right, we have the deposits. On the left, we have our checks. If we're confident and we think that all this information is the same as this information, we could try to just select this check all. And if we're all correct, this would then change to 0, meaning we'd be in balance. Everything would reconcile perfectly. It didn't. Something's wrong. We're going to go ahead and find what's wrong by doing what we typically have to do, which is to uncheck this whole thing and check them off one at a time or a few at a time as we go. It's going to be great. Here we go. So we're going to go, remember, you always want to go from the checking account to the bank statement. We're going to start with the deposits. First with the beginning balance, opening balance 4210. That then is here. That's going to be our beginning balance. So that kind of takes care of us, puts us back in place to the beginning balance being correct. We're marking it as cleared. It'll do the same thing for the reconciliation. Then we're going to go back over and we're just going to check these off. It should be fairly quick. So I'm going to go like 2 at a time for the start. 3,000, 4,008. Here's the 3,000, 4,008. I'm just checking these off. As they check off, they'll be reducing here. Or they'll reduce the balance or change the balance at least. And then we got so we could highlight these as we go, and we probably should. Let's do this properly. And we're going to highlight, we found all of that highlighted, done. Now we're on the 3.6 and the 9.417. Here's the 3.6, and notice the other 9.417, there's a problem. Something's wrong there. So what we're going to do there, we could go back to the banking and use register and find that deposit, locate what's wrong and fix it, or we can just double click on it from this section. We could just double click on it and say, here is the deposit. There's one to Amazon, and that's the one that is wrong. So the one that went to Amazon is personal. The amount shouldn't be 3,006. It should be 9,417. So we'll change that now. We're just going to change this to 9,417, and then that should be good. we'll save and close. And so note, we can just kind of save that as we go. We can work through this as we go. That's why we reconcile. So there's the 9417, got it. And so there's the 36. There's the 9417. Now we're looking for the 7 and the 5002. Here's the 7, the 5002, checking those off and highlighting those off on this side. And then we go to the last two, 4009 and $3. $3. 4009, $3. Remember, the $3 may look insignificant, but you really want to get this difference down to 0. So we want to make sure we pick up all of it. Now we're off by 21,654, which is making sense because that's just the withdrawals. In essence, we found this number on the bank statement. Now we're just going to go through everything that decreased the checking account, starting with the 150 and then the 98. So here's the 150, here's the 98. We're going to go back over. We're going to highlight, found it. Let's try 3 at a time because we're crazy like that. We're going to say 320, 65, and 250. So we got 320, 65, and then 65's in there twice, and then 250. So what happened there? Let's take a look. Actually, I think we're okay here, but it's just the ordering of these accounts are maybe a little bit different in the order. And just note that it could be an alphabetical order over here. We can change the order by number if we had them, or by payee, to help us out by sorting the order up top. So let's just keep going and see if we'll be okay. Here's the 320 that we wanted, and then the 65 for the corner pub. So there's the corner pub, and then the 320, and now we're looking for the Red Cross, which is the 250. So we want the 250. I'm going to go back over here. There's the 250, and there's the other 65. See that 3 at a time was too much for us. Let's go back to 2 for a few. So we got the 65 and the 30 now. So here's the 65 and the 30. So we got those. We'll highlight those items. Done and done. And then we've got the 5001 and the 1005. Don't get dyslexic on that one. Here's the 5001 and the 1005, like I often do. And done and done. That's half highlighted. I got the whole thing though. And there's the 15, the 9, and the 1. We're going for 3 again. 15, 9, and the 100. No problem. Those 3 are found. And then the 100, the 600, the 410. The 100, the 600, the 410. This is tedious, yes, but this is what actually has to generally be done. There's not really an easy way around it. The 125, the 200, and the 598. 125, 200, 598. Done. If you have these side by side, by the way, on 2 screens or printed out, then it's a little bit easier even. 20, 48, and 83. So we've got 20, 48, 83. Got it. Those have been found. 370, 23, and 500. 370, 23, and 500. Done. This is getting easy now. And then we got the 197, the 37, and the 34. 195. Is that what I said? Yeah. 37 and the 34. Got it. All right. And then the 1002, the 26, and the 1000. 1002, 26, 1000. Got it. And then we're on the final 3 before we got these kind of funny ones at the bottom. 346 and the 3539. Let's get those 2. 346, 3539, and then the 630. I think that was this one. Good. All right. So now what we don't have, we never entered these withdrawals or the bank service charges. So now we're going to have to enter those in the register. So if I go back over, I can't just enter them from here. Now I have to go back to the register. So that's what we'll do. We'll go back to the register. And we're going to say as of the 31st, we had another transfer. It's not really a transfer. It's kind of, maybe other would be better, because this was like what the bank took out directly, or what we took out and we didn't even know really. So 400. That's a withdrawal. We can think of it as like an ATM withdrawal. And so now we need to know, well, where are we going to put the withdrawal? Did we spend it on business or personal items? If we spent it on personal items, then we should put it to just the personal draws. Well, let's think about this. From the business standpoint, if we didn't know where it was and it came out of the business checking account, this being both business and personal, then of course we would want to put it into the personal side of things. Now, if we decide it's personal, and which it is, it's on the personal side, but now we need to know, well, which personal account do we want to put it to? Because it's not just a draws, in other words, because we're not just looking at the business account. We want to categorize it. Which personal account should it go to? But we don't really know, which is the problem with cash. From this standpoint, all we know is we took money out of the bank. We don't know what we spent it on, and therefore it's hard to decide, even if it's personal, which personal account it should go to. So this is, of course, why if we want to track things better for budgeting, it's nice not to use cash. And if for whatever reason we don't want any kind of audit trail or no tracking, then cash is a good thing to use. But we're going to put here miscellaneous. We're going to put it into miscellaneous, which we set up. Miscellaneous account, and okay, that'll be that one. Back to our bank account, I'm going to cross that out, and then we have the last one, which is the bank service charge, and they kind of charge us a lot. I don't know why, but that's okay. We're going to say bank service charge, and that was what was that? $300. I'm calling them on that because that seems outrageous. We're going to say that's the bank service charges, and we're going to type that in there. Now, the bank service charges we could say are either business or personal, depends on how we think of the bank service charges. So I'm going to hit tab, and that might be something we want to go back through and allocate by classes as well. But for now, we're going to go ahead and reconcile. Also note the miscellaneous we should probably assign to a class, but and so maybe we'll do that now. We'll go to the splits, and we're going to assign it to a class, personal, and record. Yes. So now we're going to go back to the reconciliation, and we'll be able to then scroll down and check off the 400 and the 300, and that should reconcile. So now we're to 0 here. We have reconciled, and that just means that it has to work. So we found all the problems that there might have been, and we're able to tie out and say, yeah, we just entered this straight from the bank statement into our books, and so now we've double checked that we entered it correctly by reconciling. So then reconcile, that'll give us these two reconciling reports. They don't help us much, but they tell us that at least we reconciled. If we display them, why don't they tell us much? Because they're really important normally under a normal bookkeeping process, because they're normally telling us our system compared to the bank statement and giving us those reconciling items being outstanding checks and deposits. We don't have any of those because we're not looking for them. We're not entering our books separately. We just entered our books straight from the bank statement in order to get a profit and loss on a cash basis, more or less. So this doesn't really, all this tells us is that we properly didn't miskey anything as we entered the information from the bank statement into QuickBooks. Closing this back out, here's the more detailed item. And this just gives us a lot of detail that looks just like the bank statement because we entered the bank statement directly into the book. So there's nothing really new here. There's no outstanding checks or deposits, which are really typically what we think of as the reconciling items necessary, or usually the important items within a bank reconciliation report. So in any case, this just proves that we did the job. We got the stuff in there exactly in the same format as it is on the bank statement. And so it's still a good process to do the reconciliation. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info.